Hello buddies, we'll directly jump into the programming section in this video and we'll do two programs. One is in front of you, you can see program to find sum, and let me explain you what that means, what we'll do. So suppose we'll first take an input from a user. So if user gives us number 4, let's say, what we actually want, what our program should do, it should sum 1 plus 2 plus 3 till the number that user has given as an input, and the final output is 10. So this 10 should be the final output that a program should give, and this is what you have to code. So you have to start with 1 till that number in the input from the user, and you have to find, your code should find actually the sum of that series, and this is what we're gonna do. So let's see how we can make the logic of this program, how you actually start the process, how you actually document the steps before doing the code. That is the important part, how you make the logic, how you'll do this step by step. So directly let's see the steps. The first step, that is that will be the start of the program. So step 1, we want a user input. User input will be the step 1. Okay, for that we'll require one variable, right, to store that user input, and we'll require the functions this cin. Remember? Clear? First step, easy, very easy. Second step, I require a loop. And why I require a loop? If you see on the right side where we have that series, I'm just choosing a color. Why I'm saying that I want a loop? Because I have some start here, right? This is my start. I have some ending here, end point. This is my end, and I am going from start to end using some intermediate data points, right? And at every step, this is one step, this is one step, this is one step, every step I am doing the common thing. And what is that common thing? Plus. And that is what the loop is all about. Loop says I need some start thing, some end, and during each iteration loop executes the common code, common behavior, and that is what it is. So that this is what actually we want to do. Okay, so this is our step 2. So here in loop we have start as 1, we have end as the user given number, so let's say n, and we have increment of +1. Every step is of +1, and common code is sum or plus, right? This is my loop properties. Now what is the third step? I need a variable to store the result. So one variable to store a result, right? Okay, anything else? No. And I'll also need to output this result, so I'll use cout. Okay, now the last and the important thing that is required is logic inside a loop. How I'll do the summation inside loop, so that all the summation of all the steps, all the i's 1 2 3 4 gets stored in a variable result. This is what I need to make. I require this logic, and we'll see how we figure out that logic. So for that logic, let's again write this series 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4. This is what our series will look like if we expand that. Now what if I add 0 before it, and why I'm adding that I'll tell you later. Just remember that I'm adding 0 plus here. Why? Because my initial result variable will have the value 0. initially my sum is 0. When at the start of the program my result is 0. That's true. Okay, so why I'm doing this, so now this is the I, this is I in the first iteration, this will be I in the second iteration. Okay, so this is I1, I'll say this is I1 for the for loop. This is my result, current result 0, and I'm adding these two, and this will give me the new result, right? Now this is I2. What I'm doing, I'm adding I2 to my current result, and again this gives me new result. Then again what I'm doing, I'm adding I3 to my current result, and this will give me the new result. And again I'm adding I4 to my current result, and again this will give me new result. So I think you got the point here. The common logic, as you can see, in the each iteration we add that I of that iteration to the current result, and then we again store that sum to the result. So if I write this, result is equals to result plus I inside for loop, this will be our logic. So in every iteration for loop will have a value for I, which will add to the current result. So at the start I will be 1, result will be 0, so this will be equals to 0 plus 1 for iteration 1, right? And again we'll store this to the new to the variable result. So our this will become 1, result will become 1. I am using the short form here. Now in iteration 2, again this using this formula, result is now 1 and I is now 2, so this will become 3, right? Again this will go on, and finally you will reach the end. So this is our common logic, that what I want to say. That's why I added 0 before it. This is the result. So what the common behavior is, I'm adding I, current I, to the current result, and I'm again storing that value, that sum, into the result, so that I can use that result in the next iteration. So let's directly jump to the code, and let me open our notepad++. This is our text editor, so you know how to start our program. So include iostream using namespace std, right? Now our main function int main, and return 0. This is our closing part. Now remember, first step is user input. We require one variable, and we require one variable for the result, and we'll require one variable for the loop I. So total 3 variables, and all 3 are integers here because we are dealing with integers, let's say, for now. So int in for input, result, and one for loop, I am saying it as I. Okay, I am initializing result is equals to 0. All is good here. Now another step is for loop. If you go step by step, you can see there's a loop whose start is 1, end is user input. Oh, we missed the cin part here, we'll add that. And for loop, its increment is +1 and common code is plus, which is this result equals to result plus I. So our cin in variable in, or in instead of in I'll say just n. Let's say user input is in n. For I is equals to 1, start value is 1, I is less or equals to n, and I plus plus, you know plus plus means I equals to I plus 1. Start of for loop, end of for loop, and what is a common code here? Result equals to result plus I. So we'll use current value of I, we'll add it to the current result, we'll store the sum into the result part that we'll use in the next iteration. And finally we'll see output result is cout result. Final value will be in the result. Let's write one message here also. Enter, yeah, enter a number. Okay, so let's say let's rename it to sum.cpp as C++ file. Okay, now let's open a command prompt. I'm already in that folder. I'll just write g++ sum.cpp -o sum.out. So there's some error. Let's see what the error is. Cin was not declared in this scope. Cout was not declared in this scope. And before that there's an error, this invalid pre-processing directive include, because the spelling is wrong. So include, save it, again run it. Now it's all good. Execute sum.out. So message enter a number, let's say 4, enter, result is 10. Let's say another number 5, result should be 15. Now some big number 10, result is 55. So again spelling mistake here, result. So I think you got the point here, how you can make the logic. Everything, coding is very simple. As you can see, coding is very simple. What you all have to do is you have to just prepare your steps, what are all the steps you're gonna do, then according to that how many variables you'll require, what are the functions you'll require. Okay, so for example here these functions, variables, if you are using loop, what will be the start value, end value, increment, why we want to use loop, that is also issue. Then what is the logic that we'll use inside loop and outside loop. So this is the practice that we use to make the logic. And we'll do the second program also to again to make it perfect, how to figure out the logic. So let's move out to the second program, which will be very much similar to this program, just a little difference. So our new program will be program to find factorial, and it is same as the old one. Factorial is nothing, means if user gives you 4, you have to find 1 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 4, and answer will be 24. So instead of sum we are doing multiplication here. So if you compare, it's all easy, but there's slight difference. What is the initial value of result in this case? So for example here result is equals to 0, initial value is 0, but in this what will be the initial value? Think about it, because if you do 0 here, so it will be 0 multiplied by 1 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 4 and equals to 0. That means we can't use 0 as an initial value. So in multiplication we use 1 as initial value. So 1 multiplied by 1 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 4 equals to 24. So this will be the initial value of our result. This is our result. Okay, case solved. What will be the common logic? Let's say R for result. R multiplied by current I gives you new R multiplied by current I gives you new R multiplied by again current I gives you new R. So I'll store this value in R, I'll store this value in R, and finally you'll get multiplied by current I equals to final R. All other steps will remain the same. So let's directly jump into the coding part. Let me open Notepad. So this is the program we'll do some little changes in this. So we'll require one user variable and will be there. We'll require result. We'll require I for the loop. Now initial value of result is not 0, it is 1. Enter a number. User will give us a number. We'll start from 1. We'll go till n I plus plus. Result equals to result multiplied by I and result. Let's save as a new program. Let's call it product.cpp. Open up editor. G++ product.cpp. Oops, it print not print product.cpp minus o product.out and run product.out. Enter a number 4, answer is 24. Again enter a number 5, answer is 120. Again enter a number, let's say 10, answer is this much. So very easy. Now you can see it's very easy to make a logic if we go step by step. So I haven't explained much about factorial because we have seen all of the things, all of the steps in this program. So try these two programs, try to find the logic in your own way. This is my way of explaining the things. You can try your own way. And to give you some practice program with a little twist so that you can make new logic, here are your practice programs. Find sum of even numbers. Okay, find sum of only even numbers within user given number So for example, if user gives you value as let's say 4, so you have to find, or let's say 6, so you have to find 2 plus 4. You'll avoid 1, you will avoid 3, you will avoid 5. Odd numbers you will not take into consideration, only even numbers. So if user gives 10, the sum of 2, 4, 6 and 8 and 10. Here you will also have 6. Okay, so find the sum of even numbers within user given number. And same for the multiplication part. You can practice. You can also do find product of even numbers, find product of odd numbers, find sum of odd numbers. Okay, so that is the practice program for you, and we'll do some more programming and we'll see new loop structure in the next video.